Hello, this is CapCan Knows, the official podcast of the Capital Area College Access Network. You might be familiar with our newsletter articles of the same name. We are excited to engage the community in conversations about college access. I am your host, Jacob Takacic, and an AmeriCorps Vista serving with CapCan. Joining me today is Scott Duimstra, the Executive Director of the Capital Area District Libraries. So let's jump right in. First of all, Scott, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
And we'll start you with your first question. Pretty basic, something we've asked many of the people who have shown up on our podcast, but who encouraged you to go to college?
Encouraged me to go to college. It was probably, he didn't necessarily encourage me, but he was kind of an inspiration, was my older brother. So I'm the youngest of 6 children, pretty working class family, and my dad was a postal carrier. My mom worked in a nursing home, and basically growing up, you went to high school, and after high school you got a job, except for the brother who's closest to me. He ended up going to college and enjoyed it and talked about the opportunities that it created for him. So I saw that, but I also saw it as an opportunity to study things that I was interested in, and so that appealed to me, but it also appealed to me about opening up some doors of other possibilities for myself.
So you would say it was important to you to continue your education post high school rather than just jump right into the workforce?
It was. So I saw that as after talking to my brother, it opened up some different opportunities for him, and it kind of widened the job network for me. Although at that time it was kind of hard to think about what career path I wanted to follow, I just saw more opportunity if I did go to college.
Right. And at CapCan, we've talked a lot with our partners about even those jobs that traditionally are, you just need that GED or high school diploma, a lot more jobs are going to require some sort of certification or schooling as well, as technology increases. So
correct.
It sounds like you were a little ahead of the curve right there. So, and then let's jump now. So you are the Executive Director of the Capital Area District Libraries, and I grew up in the town of Williamston, just east of here. So we had a library back when it is now no longer at the police station where the current police station's at. But I remember going to there and participating in the summer reading program. So as of right now, we are recording on July 15th of 2019. Is it too late to get involved in your summer reading programs?
Not at all. So it goes until August the 10th. We make it very easy to register. You can visit any of our 13 locations. Williamston is one of them. Except for Williamston is actually going to be closed for a remodel. So you're going to have a fantastic library in a couple weeks. But if you cannot make it to one of our Capital Area District Library branches, you can register online at cadl.org/summer. That's cadl.org/summer. You can register online. You can have a reading log online. Basically, what we want you to do is track the minutes that you read. It's for children to help with the summer slide. So the reading and literacy skills that they're building in school, that they don't have a lapse throughout the summer. It's something that is a real epidemic for schools, and so we try to encourage that with our summer reading program, that you can enhance and build on those literacy skills. But it's not just for children, it's for teenagers as well, so high school students, but also for parents. And for parents it's particularly important because you can set a very good example for your children if they see you participating, if they see you reading. You could definitely be a reader role model to them.
Excellent. Yeah. So just really quickly, I was a big reader growing up. There were other forms of media and entertainment, but I always found myself really drawn to the written word.
Sure.
And I feel like a lot of people I know got started with, they had an adult in their life read to them growing up.
Correct.
So yeah, I do agree with you on that, and the importance of a role model, because my mom really kind of sparked me to read books. But thank you again for sharing that.
Sure.
So we talked about the importance of it, and you talked about the importance of or the influence that a family member can have over children. But how important is reading for the development of children and educational attainment both?
It's very, very, very important. There is something that I cannot say enough times. And one of the things that we do at the Capital Area District Library, especially for babies, even before baby is born, those 5 early literacy practices, which are read, write, talk, sing, play. They might sound very basic, even just playing with your child. Sounds like something that you do without even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're really doing when you're doing one of those 5 early literacy practices is you're starting to build a foundation that your child can build upon to start to read. And again, you can read to your child when they're in the womb. That's going to have an impact on them. When they are even just a baby, you can take them to the story times that are at our libraries. We have them all throughout our library system. But one of the most important things that you can do is read to your child 20 minutes a day. If you read to your child 20 minutes a day, and then when they're old enough to read, if they continue to read just 20 minutes a day, by the time they're in the 6th grade, they will have been exposed to 1.8 million words. They will have read for just under 900 hours. And comparing to their peers, they'll have a 90% more success rate for that as far as being able to succeed and go on and graduate from high school and actually go on to college. And so while it seems like, if you think about it, even if you split up in 5-minute increments, 20 minutes a day is not that much, but the impact that it can make is truly phenomenal.
Right. And I grew up hearing a lot about how television would rot your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I entirely agree with that statement. However, I think with the hours of television that the average American spends, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's got to be substantial.
Sure.
But 20 minutes doesn't sound that hard to do.
No, not at all. Not at all.
During commercial breaks.
Yeah, exactly. If you think about it, that's like one episode of, if your children watch Paw Patrol or something, that's like one episode of Paw Patrol. So if you put it in that perspective, and again, it might be hard for them to sit down for 20 minutes and you read to them, or they start reading on their own. But again, you can chunk that out, and even if and that's why for our summer reading program we have those minute increments that they can track their reading, because again, if they start to build on that and it becomes the norm, just the level that they're exposed to is phenomenal.
Right. And so I really want to talk about quick reading workload.
Sure.
Because, I like to think of the development of a child as they read and the type of literature they read. They start with usually picture books and association, then move on to chapter books at some point. They read chapter books like Junie B. Jones and on the Boxcar Children?
Yeah.
So some of the stuff I read as a kid, but then they eventually get into, the young adult fiction.
Correct.
Eventually into literary classics, and then eventually academic reading. And of course the workload and the intensity builds up. So how do you believe that students can best prepare themselves for that reading workload as it increases as they advance in their development and academic career?
Sure. Well, one of the things that we've already talked about is just kind of reading in bits. If you have a large workload, especially with reading, don't think that you have to do that all in one evening.
So it's kind of like studying almost.
It is. So
breaks.
Yeah, try to get it into breaks, but also just get comfortable with reading. And one of the best ways to do that is find something that interests you. So if you have people say I'm not a reader, and so when I have to do it in school, it's a real struggle for me. I think it's just they haven't found something that they're interested in, and there's no bad reading. Even if you read an adventure suspense novel or romance novel, that's not bad reading. You're still participating in reading. So for me and for the library, there is no highbrow, lowbrow reading. All reading is building that foundation.
It's all beneficial.
It is. And so one of the things that you can do and things that we focus on at the library is having a very diverse collection, and one that appeals to a wide range of interests. So whether you want to read sports biographies, nonfiction, romances, we don't care, as long as you're participating in reading. And again, that brings your comfort level up. So if your workload increases that you have to read more, you're going to be more comfortable doing that.
Of course. And and I think what's awesome about the libraries is that they have such that diverse section, because I can think of two other friends of mine and myself. My one friend is big into James Patterson mystery novels, and then my other friend reads almost entirely sports biographies. And then me, I read a little bit of everything, but I tend to go towards fiction and fantasy and sci-fi primarily. It's just I do like to kind of immerse myself in that. And
Sure.
It's just, I think it's a little bit fun to escape from the mundane way of life. But yeah, no, I've always found that really interesting. And funny quick story, if you don't mind me
Sure,
kind of
not
taking
at
over.
all.
So one of my most important teachers in elementary school, Miss Evans, she just recently retired. Congratulations to her, from Williamston Discovery Elementary. And so, but however, in first grade, I read my entire first grade reading library, because a lot of elementary schools have, you know, these little mini book shelves and stuff. So I read all of those. And so my first grade teacher, Miss Prue, would send me down the hall to that second grade teacher, Miss Evans. And so then I read the rest of her library, and that was my first grade developmental year. And then I was very fortunate to end up in Miss Evans' class as my teacher for a second. And she would assign me these books that I could find at the library back when it was at the police station. And so that's where I have very fond memories of that, because she would tell me to go there. I'd go back to my cousin's house because she babysat me, and I would ask to go.
Oh, fantastic.
And so I know that a lot of my family who goes to Williamston, actually my cousin's kids who used to watch me, also are very big readers. They tend to like more of the mystery and spy books. They find that very entertaining. But yeah, I think it's great.
Oh, fantastic. And again, for us, it's being part of a district library. We have over 600,000 items, and so it's going to be very difficult to run out of reading materials for the breadth of the collection that we have. And for us, we're able to see the interest of our users as well, as far as, you know, if we see Adventure Suspense is circulating quite high at Williamston, we'll send some Adventure Suspense that way.
Awesome.
So we're always going to hopefully have a collection that would appeal to our different communities.
Excellent. So before we move on, I just want to ask a quick question. I talked a little bit about myself. What's your favorite type of reading material? Or what do you tend to gravitate towards?
Again, for me, kind of similar to you, it's really hard to pin down, and I go through phases. So right now I'm like in an adventure suspense phase, like David Baldacci. I listen to audiobooks of his, and they're very fast paced, so it kind of makes the car ride go pretty fast.
Oh, of course.
Then I'm at home, or most recently I read a French author and it was called Lie With Me, and it was kind of almost like a coming of age romance book, which totally was out of like my normal reading zone, but I saw it on the shelf, it looked interesting, and it was fantastic. And so for me, it always just kind of goes into whatever mood I'm in, but working at the library, it's like it's very hard to almost have a preferred genre, because you just get exposed to all these, and then you find one, and that's like a wormhole that you just follow throughout that entire author series or that genre. So it's for me, and I'm also the parent of a 7 and a 4-year-old, so I read a number of children's books as well. So that's probably 80% of my reading is reading to them.
Yeah, I've been diving back into literary classics that I didn't quite read as much in high school. And then also I've been really getting into old monster stories and horror stories.
Oh, cool.
So I just reread Dracula for like the 3rd time.
That's great. The Bram Stoker Dracula?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
It's such a unique style, because you don't see a lot of books written in terms of, letters and memos, which is very different, because it's a completely different style of reading on top of the language difference. Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't have the data, but I think that's very good for development to kind of read that. So that's why I've always valued Shakespeare a lot, because you have to think about it, because the language is very different unless you read those, re-edited works.
Correct. And you remember probably the first time you read it, and you're like, I cannot read this.
Exactly.
And then it's like you get more comfortable. Right. So.
Hey, the second read through of a Midsummer's Night Dream, fantastic. So, all right, but so sorry, we got a little off track there, but it's always fun to talk about literature.
Oh, exactly.
So we talked a little bit about development and how the libraries can help prepare students, but how can they help with readiness, for college readiness, specifically for these students?
Sure. So we talked about our print collection, but we also have a number of digital resources, and so those are ebooks, audiobooks, streaming videos, and some of those streaming videos, there'll be entertainment value, but there's also educational value to them. The ebooks and the audiobooks are something that they can access here, or if they go off to college, as long as they have that Capital Area District Library card, they'll be able to access it there, so they can get some of the classics. There's also plenty of nonfiction material in there as well. But what we also do is we partner with area organizations, and we partner a lot with MSU to have tutoring services at some of our libraries. So if parents or students are out there and they want kind of a nice, quiet, safe space to sit down with a tutor, we offer that. We also offer study spaces in some of our libraries too. And then we try to have different ongoing resources, whether it's something dealing with financial aid, something dealing with college preparedness. We try to have events that are going to reflect the needs of our community as well. So it's a combination of collection, the events that we have, and then some support through tutoring as well.
Right. And I've been to some of the libraries in the area too, and I think having those test prep books and subject prep books for free, or sorry, with the library card you can borrow, but because you can go to Schuler's, and I love Schuler's books in Okemos, Michigan here, and I love them, but
if you want to spend money, you probably don't want to spend on a test prep book. You'd much rather probably spend it on a book that you're going to read after that. So,
but I think those are great opportunities that every student can take.
Exactly.
My younger sister, before she took the SAT in high school, she rented a couple test prep books.
Nice. They're very popular. They're very, very popular.
Excellent. So. You talked about digital resources. Could you tell me a little bit more about the Michigan e-Library?
Sure. So that's through the Library of Michigan, and what they do is this is open to any resident of the state of Michigan. You can log in with your library card or with your Michigan driver's license, and it's just mel.org. That's mel.org. And what they have are research databases, and so you can find full articles on there. You can find different biographical information, academic information, and then one of the best things that they do is help you format it. So if you're using an article for some research that you're doing, and you have to do a citation for that, they walk you through the whole thing. I'm going to date myself, but I didn't have that growing up. I had to learn how to cite everything, and that was painful. And so they make it very, very easy for you, but the Michigan e-Library is such a wonderful resource that we have in our area that any student, whether probably starting in, they even have children resources, but starting in middle school, high school, and in college, they have some fantastic resources for research.
Awesome. Do you know when that was established or when it was?
I'd have to go back to see when it was established, but it's been around for quite a while, and they have. We also, in collaboration with that, we have some different digital resources that we subscribe to alongside those Michigan e-Library resources, and one of them is a language instruction database called Pronunciator.
Oh wow.
It is fantastic. What you can do is you pick the language that you're speaking, and then you pick the language that you want to learn in. And so it is so easy to swap back and forth. It isn't just I'm an English speaker and I want to learn French or Spanish. You can start in any language that you speak and select the language that you want to learn. And that one is very, very popular resource. And if you're a student in a language class, this one it makes it a lot less painful. So
wow, yeah. I wish I'd have known about that in high school.
Oh, I know. It's called. If you go to our website, it's called Pronunciator.
Pronunciator.
Yes, I would have loved that in high school when I took Spanish and French.
I love my nephew now. I believe he's taking French right now. Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, what other programs or features does the Capital Area District Libraries offer the Capital Area?
Well, along with our collections, and I mentioned that's roughly over about 600,000 items, and then our digital collections are on top of that. We have Wi-Fi at all of our branches, so that's a fiber connection. It's a fast, stable connection, so that's even in our urban, suburban, and rural locations. We have public computers. You can send a print job from your home to our library and be able to pick it up. One thing that we just started 2 to 3 years ago as well are mobile hotspots that you can check out and take home. And so if you don't have internet access at home, you can check out these mobile hotspots and you can have internet in your home, in your car, in your cottage, wherever you go for 2 weeks with your library card. Yeah, that's been a very, very popular resource. One of the things that we've just done with that is we're partnering with area schools to get every student who's enrolled in the school a library card. And we know for some schools in the area that technology is given to the student, whether it's a tablet or a laptop. And if the student doesn't have internet access at home, I mean, that's just a big paperweight. And so we're seeing how we can fill that role. And so one of the things that we've done is we've rolled out student mobile hotspots. And so these are only available. We have a program called the Student Success Initiative. Currently it's Weberville schools. Hazlitt is going to be on board, and then we hope other schools in Ingham County will get on board as well. But with that program, the students those mobile hotspots are only available for those students. So again, it's us trying to help with that digital divide, with access at home, so those students will be on a level playing field with a student who might have internet access at home. And those are part of our library of things, and there's a ton of stuff in our library of things. We have telescopes, we have fun stuff like bocce ball, lawn games, things like that. This is kind of a non-traditional collection, so you think of the library as books, movies, books on CD, CDs. These are kind of non-traditional things that you might have a one-time use for, or you might want to try it before you actually invested in them. Like there's a number of musical instruments in there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we just started. We also added GoPro cameras. So if you're a student and you need to use a GoPro camera for a project, check it out at the library. If you want to learn how to play guitar but you don't want to invest in the money yet to see whether you're good or not, check it out from the library. So it's that's probably one of our fastest growing collections, is the Library of Things. And if you go to our website and just in the catalogs type in Library of Things, you'll see all of the items that are in that collection.
Yeah. So to somebody who may not be familiar with the Capital Area District Libraries, it sounds like that is a pretty great resource for both kids and adults.
Correct. And so one of the things that we try to do is appeal to everyone at every stage in life. So whether you're a new parent with a baby, we're going to offer baby story times. If you're a child already learning to read, we offer summer reading and other reading programs. If you're a student, we offer those student resources. If you're an adult that just wants to check out the latest bestseller and relax, we have materials for that as well. So we have a wide breadth, but our mission is to empower our communities, and that empowerment means different things for different people. And so we try to be a diverse resource in the community that kind of fits every facet of our communities.
Excellent. Well, thank you again so much.
You're welcome.
So, unfortunately, it's about time we wrap up. I can already tell that you and I could talk for a while.
Oh, definitely.
So we have one last question for you.
Sure.
And we end every interview with CapCan Knows, where you would state your name and what you know. So I asked you, Scott, who are you and what do you know?
My name is Scott Duimstra, and it was funny when I see this question. It's I was a philosophy major in undergrad, yeah. So I would say what I know is I don't know a lot of stuff, and so I think that's one of the things that I admit. But in all seriousness, what I know is again the importance of libraries. And so whatever stage you're at in life, the library is a cornerstone for that. And so many of the things that we hear out in the community is if they haven't visited a library, they think that we're struggling because they see everything as going digital. What they don't realize is we adopted that digital landscape quite a while ago. And so we're very comfortable in it, but we're much more than that as well. We're community spaces, so we're a cornerstone for those communities that we serve, and that's something that appealed to me to get into the libraries. It's something that through my work, it's been reinforced, and it's something that I know and I'm very comfortable with, and I'm so glad that in our community that we get the support that we have from the libraries, because in our communities we're one of the most highly supported institutions, and it has allowed the Capital Area District Libraries to really grow into one of the most respected library systems in the state of Michigan. So it's made me very proud, and it's something that I know, and I never take it for granted, and I never forget it either.
All right, well, that's awesome. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you again for coming on the podcast to chat with me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Scott mentioned, or Mr. Duimstra mentioned, a couple of links here to the Michigan E-Library, to Capital Area District Library, and the Library of Things as well. So all those links will be available in the description below. So I recommend that everyone checks those out. So you can kind of get a visual on what Mr. Duimstra talked about today. For more information on CapCan, please just be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. The links will be in the video description below. Or visit our website at capcan.org. So thank you again for all stopping by and listening to us today, and we will see you again very soon.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode of the CapCan Knows podcast. As incoming students arrive on campus to start the academic year, they will need some basic items to get settled in and to help them be successful. However, not all students have the means to purchase school supplies or even basic items such as toiletries. CapCan is collaborating with the Capital Area United Way to initiate our Student Super PACs. Student Super PACs are care packages filled with essential items for incoming college freshmen to start their post-high school adventure. We have 4 types of Student Super PACs. The Let's Study Pack is filled with school supplies such as pens, pencils, notebooks, you name it. The Wash 'em and Dry 'em packs are filled with laundry supplies such as hangers, detergent, a laundry basket, dryer sheets, etc. The Get Well Pack is filled with simple health supplies such as Kleenex, first aid kits, bandages. And the Going on a Journey pack is filled with dorm essentials such as towels, a shower crate, storage crates, other toiletries, and everything else a student might need. You can help CapCan send college students off with the resources they need to be successful. In the description of this video, you will find a link to flyers of each of the Student Super PACs, the contents of each pack, and an estimated cost of the pack. You should also see those flyers on the screen right now. If you're interested in contributing, you can donate to CapCan at our Mighty Cause link, which will be below in the description below. Or you can drop off an item at our office at 330 Marshall Street, Suite 203 in Lansing, Michigan, zip code 48912. Thank you for all of your support.